Okay, hello to all of you who are visiting my YouTube channel. Thanks for stopping by, and I wanted to create a demo here real quick to explain. Someone on my Wonderfest video, my 2025 Wonderfest video, asked or commented, how do you go about making the panel lines? And so I figured I'd address that here and do a hopefully quick demo and give you just the basics of how I go about doing that. So I'm here logged into OnShape. I'm oriented to the top frame here, and I'm just going to start a sketch. And select the top frame, and I'm just going to create a basic shape for my spaceship-like looking little thing here. Real simple, right? And then we're going to take that shape, we're going to extrude it. Let's go. That looks about right. And in order to show whoops, I flipped it all over the place there. In order to show the methods that I use, because there's really two primary methods that I use, I'm going to add like a little, maybe a neck here. We'll say this is like the front of the ship, right? Maybe the windows here for the flight deck, and this will be like a neck. Almost kind of looks like an AT-AT. So we'll do normal, and we'll do another sketch. I'm going to create another sketch, and I'm going to create a circle, and I'll tag this center point, I'll tag this center point, and then what it'll automatically do is say, oh, you want the middle, right? And I'll just create my circle. Yeah, that works. Now I get out of the sketch. I'm going to extrude it. Not very much here, just a little bit, just for the sake of the demo, just enough to kind of show. That may even be too much, but so now we've got this part, one single part, and I've got these flat sides here that I can put panel lines on, and I've got this cylindrical portion, this rounded portion that I want to put panel lines on. So there's two ways I go about it. First, we'll go with the flat sides, right? So I'm going to switch to this piece here. I'm going to create a sketch, and I'm going to select that side, and I'm just going to start drawing out panel lines. And it really doesn't matter. I'm going to keep everything, probably most everything is going to be 90 degrees. Maybe I'll make a few diagonal panel lines here. Let's start with this first. No, I got to flip back normal here. Okay. Let's do maybe something like this to here. And maybe we do a diagonal here. There are no wrong answers, right? It's your design. You do it however you want to do it. Nobody's can tell you you're doing it right or wrong. Maybe you take inspiration from like panel lines on like an aircraft or like a naval ship or some other spaceship that you saw, or just whatever looks interesting to you, whatever brings interest to the piece. Let's do this too. We're going to do like a little inset panel, something like this. And for this inset panel, I think what I want to do, I want to give it some filleted edges here. So that feels about right. You just click on the corners, right? And then I think that looks about right. Let's get this out of here just so it's not distracting. Okay, so see, I look at this and I'm like, yeah, you know what? I think that's how I want it to be. So once you have it pretty much where you want it, right, your panel lines, and I'm not going to focus on any other sides right now. I just this particular side. I want to select these lines, and I'm going to go up here to the top. Now, once you've switched over into a sketch, you'll notice your tools up here change, right? And one of the tools the tool we want to use for this specific task is called slot. So I'm going to click on, and there's a drop down. You could either have offset or slot. We want slot, and we're going to run that tool. Now this could be any size. Notice it's 0.06. I could make it 0.1 and widen these out even more. For the sake of this, I'm going to put 0.06 because I found for 3D printing at the resolution that I print these at, 0.05 to 0.06, the panel lines look, to me, the best, and they're believable at this size. If you make them too small, they might not really register when you go to 3D print it. You might not really be able to see them. If you make them too big, they may just look like tacky and weird. And so I would say maybe play around with a couple test pieces and see what works. Make a couple test panels and print them out, and whatever works best for you, then just stick with that. But for the sake of this demo, we're just going to go with 0.06. And so now here, let me get rid of this too, so it's not confusing. All right. So I'm happy with that. I think I'm happy with that, and I'm going to go ahead and turn off the part, and I'm going to select this area, right? And you'll notice what happened in here when I ran that slot function is it just created a border around each of the panel lines that I created, and they're all joined. So I'm going to deselect these shapes in between the panel lines. I don't want to make any changes to that. I don't know why that. There we go. Turn the part back on so we can see it actually take effect on the part. So now there are my lines all selected. And notice up here at the top, now that I'm no longer in a sketch, my tools are different again, right? I'm back to just I can run extrudes, and I can do sweeps and lofts. And the tool we want to use is called thicken, and we're going to do a thicken remove. And at first you'll see these are all red. That's because they need something to interact with. They don't know what to interact with yet, so we have to tell it. So for merge scope, we're going to select the part, and notice now, there you go. There's your panel lines have they've cut into they're cut into the part. That's a little deep. Let's go. We're going to do 0.06 by 0.06, and that feels a little bit more like it. And again, yeah, in my tests, I found like between 0.05 to 0.06 deep and 0.05 to 0.06 wide, something about this size seems to work best for me. It may be different for you and your printer, depending on what you use. I typically use a Saturn 3 or Elegoo Saturn 3 or a Elegoo Jupiter 6K, and this seems to work the best for me in my experience. So now I've created my panel lines on this flat face, and I could do the same on each of these. But what about a rounded face like this, right? What about a cylinder? So the way I approach it, and there are other ways to do this, but this is the way I approach it. There's like the sheet metal. You could do the sheet metal thing, and I'm not even going to go into that. That's way too complicated for this. But I just click on a flat side of if there's one available, and say there wasn't, I would just click here, and I create a plane. And I slide that plane with the little arrow here. I slide it to where I want it. I say I want it here. I'm going to create another plane. I'm going to create two more planes. Let's do one there. We'll do one here. And I'm going to do one right about here. Okay, so now if we look at it from the top, you'll see I've got a plane here, and I've got two on the cylinder. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to split this. I'm going to split this into different parts, and I do that with this tool up here called split. So I say split. I'm going to select my part. I'm going to split with this plane. Notice now we've got a line around it. It's just cut it. And I'm going to split again. Now I'm going to split with this plane. There's our cut again, our second cut, and now we're going to split right here. I'm going to select this part, I'm going to split, and boom. All right, so now we no longer have a single part. Let's turn these planes off too, so it make it a little bit easier to see. So we no longer have a single part. We now have 4 parts, right? And what I can do, or what I do, my method is I'll typically turn off neighboring parts, and then these edges here, I'll chamfer them. Again, around 0.06, 0.05, something like that. And watch what happens when you turn them back on. You've got panel lines, right? If I want to create panel lines going the other way, I'll just select the flat surface here and create a new plane. And let's kind of look at it here. Let's go right about here. You put it wherever you want it, wherever it feels right. And I just want to affect these 2 parts, right? I don't want any panel line on this part, so I'm going to turn this part off. And I'm going to select this part and this part. So let's split those parts with this guy, and boom. Now we'll turn this plane off. Now what I can do, I can start turning off parts. You're going to turn them back on. Oops. And I select these edges, and I'm going to chamfer. Chamfer here, I'm going to chamfer here, I'm going to chamfer here. Is there anything I want to, do I want to do anything here? You know what? I kind of like, yeah, I think I'm going to chamfer there. And now I'll turn everything back on. And now you'll notice I've added more complexity, right? And then there's this one here. So let's do this. I want to do like a chamfer here as well. I'm going to chamfer this. And you know what? I want to chamfer here too. And now I'll turn everything back on. And now look what's kind of happened here. Now I've got a little bit more complexity. But you'll see I've got separate parts. They need to be joined again. So let's run a Boolean operation up here at the top. The Boolean function is there, and we just join it. And now it's all one shape again. Okay? Now from here, there are a lot of things you could do. You can take like a panel like this and run extrusion on it, and maybe remove a little bit of it, maybe like this. So now you know we've got like this little area that's kind of deeper, right? You can also come to a panel like this, and you can extrude it out. And what we're going to do is maybe something like this. And now we're going to run a chamfer on this. Let's go 0.1. Now let's go whoops. Let's go 0.2. No, that might be a little much. 0.15, how about that? Okay, that's a little better. Just to give things some dimensionality, some shape. And then if there's certain areas you want to add detail to, like say I want to add detail to this, I just come in here, create a new sketch, and start putting some stuff here. Doesn't have to be anything. And put a little circle here, right? And then all we're going to do just extrude this a little bit. Do an extrude remove. And not too deep, maybe, yeah, like that. And then you can give this a little more shape, maybe come in here and chamfer this edge. All right, and maybe you're looking at this like, I need to round these corners out, so you can run the fillet here. You can fill it inside the sketch, or you can fill it with this tool after the fact. Just come in here and fillet this one out, and then I can make it bigger, I can make it smaller, whatever works for you. Again, there are no rules. Whatever catches your eye, whatever you feel lends to the design, and that's pretty much it. That's the way I approach it. If I come to a shape like this and I'm like, you know what, I feel like this needs to be either more or less, you can just click on it and do a thicken operation, a remove. I can make it larger, like more robust, or I can kind of minimize it a little bit. Let's say we'll make this one 0.1, make it just a little smaller than the others, the ones surrounding it. And now I can come in here too, and I can run like maybe a chamfer, give that a little bit of shape. It won't go that much. Let's go. No, actually, I kind of like that. We'll do it on both sides. And then that's it. You just give things, more dimensionality. You give it more interest, visual interest, to make it pop a little bit more. And yeah, that's how I go about making panel lines and adding details to, when I'm in OnShape, adding details to the ship so that they look more interesting, hopefully, when I bring them to the show. If you have any questions or any comments or whatever, feel free to put it in the comments for this video, and I will do my best to answer it. And if another video is needed to help kind of explain things, then I'll put together a video and cover it. Feel free to ask me, whatever questions you have, and that's it. Have a nice day. Bye.